Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be talking to a fellow podcaster, one who is based out of Los Angeles, who has a podcast called The Nerd Report. Her name is Amanda Gonzales, and she friended me on Facebook not too long ago. I find her very fascinating and intriguing, and she's politically incorrect like me, so I thought she would be a great interview today. We're going to talk about horror movies, maybe even cult movies in general, and other stuff related to horror, and I'm pretty excited about it. Always nice to meet, people who are also podcasters in the industry, and just, talk to each other and stuff. It's one of the great things about the internet and social media. It's bringing people together, especially people who are in the same industries and stuff. In this case, the entertainment industry. We can all come together and bring our ideas together. So it's pretty fucking sweet and pretty awesome. So yeah, here is my interview with Amanda Gonzales. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Tommy.
Yep. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry about that delay there, but I have a beer and I'm ready to have fun. Let's do this.
All right, let's do this shit. So, how are you?
I am good. I'm actually really excited. I have this going on right now, and then tomorrow morning I've got an interview with Dale Howison at Dark Delicacies.
Oh, nice. I love that place.
Isn't it? It's just the absolute most.
Yeah, I just love that place. But I heard a rumor that it might get closed down or something.
Yeah, right now there's a movement to save Magnolia Park because all of those businesses right there along that monster called Creature Features is already gone, Pinup Boutique is already gone, Geeky Tea is on their way out. So, yeah, there's unfortunately a big risk, or it's at risk for being closed. So I certainly hope not.
Why the fuck are they bothering the horror movement in Hollywood?
I have no idea. It's really, really depressing.
Yeah, it is. But, yeah, I'm great, though. I've been looking forward to this episode because I'm always down to interview a fellow podcaster who's into cult movies and not easily offended.
Oh, right on. Most definitely. That's me.
So, what was the first horror movie you ever saw?
The first horror movie that I ever saw that I can recall would have to be The Exorcist.
Uh-huh. How old were you?
Yeah. I was about 4 then.
Wow.
I have a really vivid recollection of it because, not to be morbid, but my dad died when I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
So there were certain memories that are seared into my brain, my psyche, and that's one of them.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm the youngest of 5, and my older brothers and sisters are significantly older than me. So, there's me and my sister, who's the next eldest or next youngest, however. She's 13 years older than me.
Wow.
Yeah. So my siblings were not the best babysitters, but I get my horror pedigree mostly from my older brother Trini. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my first horror movie was The Shining, and I was 2 years old. It just scared the shit out of me, and my dad used to say, "Here's Johnny," to scare me even more around the house. And here's something cool you'll like. We taped it off of this old Kodak VHS tape. This was 1984 or something. And in 1987, we taped it over for Back to the Future, and I still have the tape to this day. And if you rewind it all the way to the very beginning, just before the purple PG HBO graphics come up, you can see Shelley Duvall talking to the doctor, and it's really creepy.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
A split second, yes. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's freaking awesome. My older brother, he was my main babysitter, and he's about 15 years older than me. And so he raised me on a steady diet every Saturday. And I've talked about it on the show, where it was like Saturday morning cartoons, and then after that it would be in the afternoon. We would watch The Incredible Hulk and The Muppet Show and Elvira's Movie Macabre.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was very, I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't always appreciate it when I was very small, but then as I, got older and everything, I learned to appreciate it.
So you grew up in L.A.?
I actually grew up in, I spent my formative years, my first 10 years in Colton, California.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I kind of bounced around, divorced parents, how that dance goes. So
yeah.
I went up north for a bit, like Contra Costa County and Antioch.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then back down to Glendale and then LA, kind of here and there.
Nice. Yeah, I'm born and raised in San Mateo, California, in the small suburbs of San Francisco.
Right. Oh, that's cool. I love being up north. It's a totally different lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't like it anymore. It's just changed since all the tech dicks took over.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So did you laugh more than get scared when you watched horror growing up?
I definitely got more. I was more scared when I was a kid, when I was younger. But then now, I mean, of course, now I like laugh about and get really inappropriately excited when I watch horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
But but when I was a kid, for example, our local video store, because we used to even rent like the what do they call it, the VCR. Our family had to rent a VCR besides renting the tape. The scariest imagery I can remember from the rental place was the cover for Halloween, the VHS.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, something about Michael Myers and just that whole concept of Halloween being like truly evil just frightening the hell out of me.
I got this cool Halloween poster that I got off of eBay. It's like half of the original poster with the pumpkin and the knife in the hand, and half of a silhouette of Michael Myers' face. It's so fucking cool, and I got it signed by PJ Souls right now. I haven't seen the other cast members at any conventions yet, but I hope to, especially John Carpenter.
Right, he's like up there, like the Alpha and the Omega. Did you ever get a chance to meet Wes Craven?
No, I don't even think he did that many conventions in my lifetime, other than like the early Fangoria stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Did you ever meet him?
No, he's the one that unfortunately got away, which is a terrible way to think of him. But I just barely missed meeting Romero as well.
Me too. Yeah, I was going to meet him actually at a convention that ended up getting canceled, ironically, a few months after he died. And it was just a weird twist of fate. And like when I was growing up, him and Carpenter were my two horror guys. Like they're the guys that I've always tried to emulate in my screenwriting and stuff. I love those guys.
Oh, most definitely. My heroes are, well, of course, on my Instagram, I'm Phantasm420. Don Coscarelli is he's my ultimate. I've had a chance to meet him twice.
Me too.
And the one that got away also, another one is, of course, the tall man, Angus Scrimm.
Yeah.
I wish I could have met him. But, like, Don Coscarelli follows me on Instagram, and every time he looks at my story, I get really excited and take a screenshot of it.
Yeah, I met Don Coscarelli last year. Very approachable man, I have to say. Very nice. And
he is.
And yeah, I'll tell you, Gunnar Hansen died a couple months before I had my car accident. And then the last week I was in the hospital, Betsy Palmer died. And then when Angus Scrimm died, I was just like, oh, you know what? I need to start going to horror conventions because everyone's dying on me and I haven't met them. And so I've gone to a shitload of them in the last 2 years.
Right. I've seen not only your podcast, and excuse me, you've interviewed some really incredible horror legends right there, but then also you have great pictures.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been very lucky with the horror people I've gotten. This show started out as horror themed, and now it's gotten to be pretty much anybody and stuff, depending on who I can get. Because it got to a point where I started running out of horror people I could get because a lot of them were like, oh, talk to my agent and stuff, and like their agent wouldn't let me fucking interview them, which sucks.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get an interview with Mick Garris at Midsummer Screen. That's going to be at the end of this month. And I admire him. He's like my hero. I've made posts about him. And he's another one that, much like Coscarelli, if he like looks at my story or responds to something, then I'm just like over the moon and I totally geek out. So I have this thing that I do. It's kind of embarrassing, but when I meet certain celebrities I'm really excited about, like, have you ever seen the Talladega Nights Ricky Bobby movie?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so when he's on camera and they're interviewing him and he keeps raising his hands, and he's like, I'm not sure what to do with my hands. I do like a weird, I'm not sure what to do with my hands kind of motion, and it ruins pictures, but, you know, you can tell that I'm truly fangirling.
Yeah, I've just been astounded. I've met people that I never thought in a million years I would meet, and much less interview them and actually become friends with them too, and have some of their phone numbers and like text each other sometimes. It's amazing.
That is outstanding. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you know who I got to meet at a convention just before, like months before he passed away? I got to meet the Piper, Roddy Piper. And I have a really awesome picture with him. I was so shocked when he passed away because other than his arm in a sling, he was like the picture of health.
Oh, yeah.
So he was truly remarkable, and I actually even spoke with Meg Foster at, I believe it was Days of the Dead, the one time it was down here in LA, and spoke with her about him for a few minutes, and we both got teary-eyed, so, you know.
Oh my God, I've been hoping that Meg Foster goes to a convention because ever since I was a kid, I've always been attracted to women with blue eyes, you know? And her eyes are just so gorgeous. Like, every time I see her in anything, I literally get a hard-on.
Oh my God, right on. And she's Evil Lynn, right?
Yeah.
Like Masters of the Universe?
Yeah. That's a good movie. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Frank Langella plays Skeletor. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's killer.
Yeah. That's a good one. But
yeah, you know, oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, you're interviewing me. I'm just having a conversation.
Oh, no, we're having a conversation. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Right on.
What were you going to say, though?
I was going to volunteer that actually at that same con where I met Roddy Piper, it was actually my first convention, and my first celeb that I ever got to meet was Felissa Rose.
Yeah, I love Felissa.
Yeah, and she's awesome, and she looks just diabolical. She looks so good.
Yeah, her and I want to work together because I told her about the script I have and told her what it's about and stuff. She liked the idea, but she is so damn busy producing and acting and doing conventions, and plus she's got a family and stuff. It's just I hope it comes to fruition because I would love to work with her because I had a huge crush on her growing up.
Absolutely, that's a killer. No pun intended. That's a killer movie. Sleepaway Camp. If anybody's never seen it, then I'd love to introduce them to it and have them watch it. And so it's hard not to give away the ending, though.
Yeah. God, that's funny. Did you have any crushes on any horror movie actors when you were growing up?
Not so much crushes, but like I wanted Reggie Bannister to be my big brother, like Jodie and Reggie from Phantasm. I wanted to be my older brothers, which isn't necessarily a crush, but yeah, there's that. Let me see. Anybody? No, not that I can think of. How weird. I don't think I ever considered it. I was genuinely terrified when I was a kid. Oh, maybe Glenn from the original Nightmare on Elm Street. We all know who that is. Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
So that might count.
Yeah, a famous person who's now going broke, I heard.
No kidding. It's really a shame what's going on there.
Yeah, God, he's got bad spending habits now. And funny thing is, the guy doesn't dress like he's famous, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But my crushes in horror were like Felissa, and my biggest one was Linnea Quigley, and I got to interview her twice, and I got to be interviewed by her for her documentary last fall, and that was fucking nerve-wracking, but I was so excited because here I am.
Oh, sweet. Mm-hmm.
Here I am. I'm 35 years old now, and I remember being 8 years old watching her movies on USA Up All Night. Jacking off to her and Rhonda Shear. And I told her that. And she was like, "That's so cute. Was that your first hard-on?"
Oh wow.
Yeah. But
are you excited about Joe Bob Briggs?
Oh, I am just astounded about Joe Bob Briggs. I got an email interview already sent to me as of yesterday, and I'm gonna post it pretty soon when I make a video of it.
Oh, that's wicked! 13 movies on Friday the 13th. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I watched him on Monster Vision when I was a kid. We didn't have the movie channel. My mom worked for the cable company, and she told me the movie channel was just super expensive, but we had HBO Cinemax and Showtime. So I didn't see him until TNT, and I just loved him because after a while, you get bored seeing the same host doing the horror-themed thing like Vampira, Elvira, and stuff. And then you get normal-looking people like him or Rhonda Shear or Gilbert Gottfried on USA Up All Night. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Oh, I saw Rhonda at a autograph convention a couple of months ago. It's called the Hollywood Show.
Oh yeah.
And they get really good talent there. So I got to see her, and then there was a Warriors reunion.
Oh.
That was spectacular. Lou Ferrigno was there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even remember who else. It was really, really cool. The next one's looking to be even better, but I've got Midsummer Scream coming up. So, which reminds me, are you planning to come down for the Halloween convention that's going to take place in October?
No, I wish I could. I gotta save money because I'm gonna be in LA for a whole month next spring to try to get work down there and stuff. And I'll definitely go to Monsterpalooza at that time because I go every year. But this year I had to skip it. But I'll do that, and maybe if the Hollywood show is going on in April, maybe I'll check that out too.
Right. And that's cool. What's cool about the Hollywood show is that they're every couple of months as opposed to 2 events all year. So, yeah, they're really good. Oh, I got to meet Sonny Chiba at the last one.
Yeah.
I got my Kill Bill poster signed. I didn't have a Street Fighter one. That would have been awesome. But Kill Bill's still good.
I heard Sonny Chiba charges a lot.
It was $50, but in comparison to others, it was an awesome experience. I don't want to say who I've had not so great experiences with, but because everybody has bad days. But Sonny Chiba, he speaks Japanese, and he had his manager there, but so gracious, so kind. He took great pictures with us, and it was awesome. It was a very cool experience to hang out with the Street Fighter for a few moments. It was worth it. I do not regret the money that I spent to meet him.
Nice. I've had a couple bad experiences. One I don't mind mentioning because it's actually pretty funny. Caroline Williams?
Yes.
Yeah, I was at the after party for Son of Monsterpalooza in 2016 in Burbank. She was a judge for a stupid Halloween costume contest or something like that. I can't remember. It was a pretty lame party, but I'm in line getting a drink, and she comes walking by, and I tried looking for her table all day that day, but I couldn't find it. And so she comes walking by, and I'm not asking her for her autograph or a selfie or anything. I just want to tell her how much I love her work, And I'm like, hi. I'm like, Carolyn? She's like, yes. And she's not even looking at me in the eye. And I'm like, hi, my name is Tommy Kovac. I've always loved your work and stuff. And before I could even say I love your work, right after I said my name, she fucking starts walking away. And I fucking yelled, fucking bitch, I hope you die like you did in Leprechaun 3. I was mad.
Oh, no.
I was mad. Oh, and then fucking guys that are like in the line in the back of me, they're like fucking laughing and going, "You tell her, brother."
Oh man.
I was mad.
That's too bad.
I told that story to Adrienne King when she was on the show. She was like, "Oh my god." She's like, "Oh my god, I know Caroline, and that doesn't sound like her, but I believe you, Tommy, because you're a great guy and stuff. But I apologize in advance for her doing that." And I thought that was very nice of her to say that.
Oh, that was. You know, I have to say one of my best experiences with. He's not so much a horror star per se, but I guess he's pedigree, if you will. It's Keith Coogan, son, of course, grandson, famously of Jackie Coogan.
Yeah.
He's incredible. It was like $20. He gave me an autographed picture, an autographed plate. He took like 4 or 5 pictures with us. He gave us like a magnet. We hung out with him for like 15 minutes, all for $20.
Wow.
So, sometimes you have experiences like that are just like phenomenal.
Yeah, I tried to meet him at the Central Valley Comic Con last Christmas, but it was the week before Christmas, so I didn't get to go. But I wanted to go just for him because I am a fan of him. I'm a fan of his grandfather, Jackie Coogan, also, who played Uncle Fester on The Addams Family.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. But I'll meet him eventually. I see he's been doing a lot of cons lately.
Yeah, totally worth the money, the experience. He's really cool. Him and what was it? It was a tiny little con that I went to over here called YesterCon, and also met Carlos Alasraki, comedian, star, Reno 911, and a voice actor, and he was very cool as well. He signed a couple of things for me and did voices for me, so it was really cool. Sometimes you have incredible experiences. I've only had a couple just not so good ones.
Yeah, like me, I've just had only a couple, but for the most part, I have just had so many great experiences with them. They were just lovely people, and I just cherish it every day. I'm a guy who had a car accident a couple of years ago, and I spent 30 days in a coma,
Oh, my goodness.
And
well, I'm so glad you're recovering and you're with us now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'm just astounded at how much I've accomplished since then, and that, I've gotten this opportunity to do what I love and forget about, being a normal person like I tried to be before the accident.
No, do not assimilate.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's right. We are the weirdos, mister. Exactly.
Exactly. Well, so what are your favorite, your top 10 favorite horror movies, if you have them?
Oh, let's see. I just recently did like a top 5 cult one on my show, but of course Phantasm is up there. I'm Phantasm 420, so Phantasm. Honestly, Michael Dougherty's Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is just like, oh my god. I really believe it's underrated. Annabelle Creation, to me, is one of the best horror movies to come out in the last, 10 years. Let's see, so Annabelle Creation, what else is there? Alice, Sweet Alice.
Right.
Motel Hell.
Oh, good one.
Night of the Creeps.
Love it. Oh, love Night of the Creeps.
Let's see, Slither. James Gunn's Slither. That's a fucking awesome-ass movie. And a really good one that I like, I don't know if it's one of my favorites, let's call it an honorable mention, Limper.
Limper. I don't remember that one.
Splinter.
Oh, Splinter.
Yeah, Splinter, starring Shea Wiggum.
Yeah, Splinter. I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Splinter. It's also Paulo Costanzo. It's only 4 people in the entire movie, but that is some serious creep factor right there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned Night of the Creeps. Jill Whitlow was one of my first guests, and she is a delight, I'll tell you.
I love her. That's one of my favorite commentaries, Night of the Creeps. Fred Decker, and then, of course, Spanky, and then Jill, and then the other kid, Chris, he plays Chris Carpenter, I think. Oh, my gosh, I forgot. But anyway, that's one of my favorite commentaries, up there with the Danny Simon commentary for Friday the 13th, Part 5. Those commentaries are just stellar.
I haven't heard those ones. I need to get...
Very good with a listen.
Yeah, I need to get those DVDs. I haven't. I've been just lazy. 'Cause I'm a VHS collector, and like I was homeless for a while just before my accident, and I had to give away like all my VHS tapes, with the exception of maybe about 10% of them, and I was pretty upset about that. So I've been like catching up, getting those ones.
Oh man, best of luck with rebuilding that collection there.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I want to include another favorite horror movie of mine is The Blob, but the '86 version, Kevin Dillon.
'88 actually.
It's '88. Damn it, I always get it wrong. So there we go, '88. I love that movie. I got to watch it on the semi-big screen at the New Bev, that's Quentin Tarantino Theater down here.
Yeah.
And, it's such a great movie.
Yeah, I had Julie McCullough, who's in the a movie or TV show they're watching in the movie. She was on screen doing that, and she was telling me about the behind the scenes of the movie, because even though she's only in the movie within a movie, she did get to meet everybody in the cast and hang out with them and stuff.
Oh, sweet. Oh my gosh, what's the name? Oh, I just met him. He plays the babe in The Sandlot. But he's like the dad of Shawnee Smith in The Blob. So when I got to meet him at Monsterpalooza, I was like,
I did too.
You're awesome because you're the babe.
I did
too. I love you. I love The Blob.
I did too. You're talking about Art LaFleury.
Yes, that's it.
Nice man. Yeah, he was telling me about working with Clint Eastwood and Burt Reynolds on City Heat and the fight scene that they did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to include, to round out, I don't know how many I got to, but to round out my list, honestly, one of my all-time favorites, and to me the scariest movie in the franchise, is Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yes, it's very good. I have a poster for it, and I got it signed by Heather.
Nice.
Which was very cool. I wasn't about to wait 4 hours and possibly meet Robert Englund and then pay $80 for an autograph and then another $80 for a photo. I love him. I can't wait to meet him eventually, but they weren't even guaranteeing at Monsterpalooza that waiting in line all that time would get you an autograph, would get you a meeting. So my day will come.
Yeah, I didn't get to meet him that weekend either. I got to that weekend. I met Heather. I've met her twice overall after. I met Heather. I met Amanda. I met Lisa Tuesday, Brooke Bundy, and that was it. And then I got the hell out of there.
Oh, let's see. In total, from the series, because going back to that first con that I went to, it was called Nuke the Fridge Con, which begat the Nerd Report, and I'm co-host of the Nerd Report podcast. But so there I got to meet from part 3 Kincaid.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, what's his name?
Ken Sagoes, yeah.
Kid in the wheelchair. The kid in the wheelchair. Ira Steinman.
Ira Hayden.
Ira Hayden. There you go. I got to meet him as well. And then Lisa Wilcox, of course, who star of 4 and 5. And then who was? Is it Lisa Rubin? Jennifer Rubin.
Jennifer Rubin.
Jennifer Rubin. Oh, this beer is getting me right now. Okay, so Jennifer Rubin, and then also from part 2. Oh, what's the name of the love interest? Mark Patton's love interest in part 2.
Oh, Kim Myers.
There you go. And she's in Hellraiser Bloodline, which is such a cool movie. I love that movie.
Yeah. Jennifer Rubin's one of the ones I was telling you about, who's a good friend of mine. We text each other. She's cool. I've had her on the show, too.
Oh, that's sick. That's awesome. She was very cool. It was such a great experience meeting her. So, and what I did was I had a picture frame, a matted picture frame, and in each little space I put like a background or scrapbook paper and asked everybody. I went up and okay, would you put your favorite quote there as opposed to my favorite quote? And everybody seemed to like it. And what worked out about that is it's already to the dimensions for me to have it framed because I took the frame with me. And it actually got a really good response. I'll have to send you a picture of it so you can see. But yeah, I have some of the Dream Warriors, and so it's really cool. That really got me started in the convention lifestyle and autographs and everything. And of course, at Dark Delicacies, I've met a crazy ton of people, including, I believe, our mutual friend, Ronnie Angel.
Yeah, I just met Ronnie for the first time a month ago, and we've been Facebook friends for 2 years.
Oh, right on. He's a very good friend of mine. We're very close personal friends.
Nice. Yeah, let's see. I met Mark Patton at Dark Delicacies. He told me I was handsome, and I was just so flattered by that.
Heck yeah. I just made a post for him recently. He signed my glove. I have a glove, and like a steel blade glove, not the plastic one. And I got one of his shirts as well. He's very, very cool. I'm
pretty boring as a collector. I got 11 by 17 posters signed by people. And I met Larry Cohen last year. I have one of his stuffed cups, that was actually in the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got signed by him, Laureen Landon, and Paul Servino, who I met a couple weeks ago. That was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. I got to meet him at Monsterpalooza, this most recent Monsterpalooza.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to that one, and then my friend decided to go back to doing crystal meth, so I didn't get to go.
Wow, well, that was inconsiderate.
Yeah.
But, I will say that this most recent Monsterpalooza did seem a little packed to the gills, if you will.
Yeah, you know what? There were a lot of people I saw on the list that I've already met, a lot of people, but there was also a lot that I wanted to meet, and some I got to at Sinister Creature Con in Sacramento a couple weeks ago, and then some I'm going to be meeting at the next one, and hopefully a lot of them will come back next year as well. I see people that are going to be there this September that I'm not going to be able to meet, like Robert Brian Wilson from Silent Night, Deadly Night. I want to meet him so bad.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah, Son of Monsterpalooza is coming up. As a matter of fact, even Mad Monster is going on in Arizona next week. I'm considering going there for like a day, like flying out for a day and then coming back that same day.
Oh, I wish I could. I wish I could too. Oh my God, I have cousins out there that live close by.
Yeah, it's my co-host, Robert Garcia. He went last year, and it was a lot of fun. I guess our Nerd Report booth was next to Sid Haig's booth, and so he kind of got starstruck. Him and our other friend Julio got starstruck because Sid Haig would be like, "Hey, can you guys watch my stuff while I go?" And they're like, "Oh, okay." They did a little fangirling of their own. So
yeah,
I don't know. It could be fun. It's horror conventions are so great. I really love it because I don't know. There's not like a pompous attitude when you go there. There's not like necessarily horror elitist. Everybody is there to enjoy the scenery and be creepy people together, and it's such a good time. It's always worth the money.
Yeah, I love going to horror conventions. The only thing I don't like, there's certain celebrities that do them. They're just there to make money and they don't care. That's the one thing I don't like about it. But other than that, it's great for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, most definitely.
And actually, it's more of a Comic-Con kind of a thing with that, actually, more than the HorrorCon. When celebrities do the the Comic-Cons, like the international ones, that's when they just want to do a hi and goodbye type of thing.
Yes, I would say definitely. It's I've been asked a couple of times if I'm going to go to, no, more than a few times. Even my boss, Lewis, at the Nerd Report, he said, "Oh, you're coming to Comic-Con with us, right? You're coming to Comic-Con with us, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm a horror nerd. I'm not like a standard nerd, and that's comics, so you guys go ahead and go there, and I'm going to stay with my Monsterpalooza."
Yeah. Oh, here's my top 10 horror movies. It changes all the time, but these are the ones that I really, really love.
It's awesome that it changes, though. Yeah.
Friday the 13th, 1980 is my favorite slasher movie of all time.
Oh.
I just think it's just it's the quintessential slasher movie of all time. You know, it's got all the ingredients of a great slasher movie. I mean, I love Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but for me, Friday the 13th was the first one I ever saw, and I love it. It's just hard to explain how much I love it.
Absolutely, and that twist of the killer.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but yeah, that twist. Not that there's anybody out there that doesn't know by now, but
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, next, go.
Dawn of the Dead, 1978. To me, it's the best zombie movie ever made. I just love the comic book splatting. I love the funny dialogue. I love Tom Savini and the biker gang trying to help at the end, and then they get killed. That's so brilliant.
Right.
I tell people all the time, right? I say, people who love From Dusk Till Dawn, right? I say, if he said, do you know that character he's playing is actually a variation on a character he played in Dawn of the Dead, you know? And these are people who don't like blood and guts and gore and zombie shit. I'm like, fucking watch that movie. Even though you don't like that shit, watch that movie and you'll see him play that same character, and it's just as good as From Dusk Till Dawn, if not better, you know?
Oh, that's absolutely true. You know who I just saw? I just went to Palm Springs Comic Expo, and Fred Williamson was there.
Oh, I met Fred. At Monsterpalooza in 2016. I loved him. He was great.
Oh man, the first time I met him was at Raider Fest, because he's a Raider.
Yeah.
So I met him at Raider Fest, and then when I went to the Palm Springs Comic Expo, I turned on the charm and was like, "Hey, hello, the Hammer." So it was great to meet. It was great to encounter him again.
Oh, he shows me, he's got an 8x10 on his table of him in the cast of MASH, and he asks me to name every actor in that picture, and I did, and he was very impressed. And I was like, oh, does that mean I get the picture for free? And he's like, no. So I didn't buy it.
But you had that moment.
But I had that moment with him, yes. And I hope I get to meet him again. I will get an autograph and a picture with him next time. But I was running low on cash at that point.
As always is the way.
Well, what I do is... Before I go back to the movies, let me tell you this. But what I do is I write down the names of everybody I want to meet. And the ones who, you know, I want them to sign my personal merchandise. And I budget it that way, you know? But then sometimes I'll be there and they'll be charging more money than I thought they were going to be. And then I'm just like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But there's always a compromise. There's always a way for me to figure it out, you know?
Right.
Okay, so...
Yeah, I do similarly, yeah. And then sometimes I kind of judge how they are interacting with other people. I'm like, oh, do I want to invest in that after all?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I've been really fortunate to have met quite a few people, quite a few folks that have signed at conventions. I've been able to meet at Dark Delicacies, and not for like an inflated price, and I'm not paying for an admission to get in, plus the product, plus the autograph. Like, you know, one of them I went to was for, John Landis's Monster book, Movie Monsters book. Also, it was a Psycho 4 signing. So I met Mick Garris and John Landis at the same time. Absolutely incredible. One of my all-time favorite celebrity moments ever. And have you seen Riding the Bullet? Mick Garris is writing or technically Stephen King's Riding the Bullet, directed by Mick Garris?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you have to see that. It's so good. It's a spectacular ghost story.
Nice. Yeah. John Landis is, like, to me, the greatest comedy director of all time. I want to meet him so badly. That'd be awesome.
Oh, he was amazing. He sounds in person exactly as he does, like on camera and when we see him on TV and film. He sounds and looks exactly like that. And my youngest son, his middle name is Blues, after the Blues Brothers. And so I took him to meet John Landis and told him, hey, this is my son, and told him his name. And he was like, oh, wow. And they both were, like, kind of amazed with my son for a second. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, back to my top 10. So,
Yeah.
let's see, Creepshow to me is the greatest horror anthology movie ever. There's just no,
Oh,
there's just no comparison, I think.
oh, I dig it. I totally dig that. Yeah.
And I dig the second one as well, just as much. I didn't like the third one because that was not George Romero and it wasn't Stephen King or even Tom Savini. It was just garbage, part three.
Yeah, the part 2 is so brutal. I love it.
Yeah.
It's almost darker. The first one has that pulp comic feel to it. But part 2 is just like, oh, what was the movie that I watched? I think it was Justice League.
Yeah.
And I said that my favorite moment in Justice League was actually the cameo of Stan Whiteman. So, yeah, no, I love part 2, but oh, that's good. Okay, go. What's next?
Let's see. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, because that was the first one I ever saw. I was 4 years old, and I was just fucked up with Philip turning into the puppet. Oh, my God.
Right?
That was brutal,
Oh,
yeah.
my God. The action figure for that, the box action figure, includes, like, the house that Kristen builds, and then the puppet that Philip makes.
Yeah.
Oh, those tiny details sometimes just make the the crazy prices of these action figures worth it.
Yeah. People wonder why I never got into puppetry as a kid. Well, that's why.
Makes sense.
This is a movie only the hardcore horror fans out there know, especially the ones who love Charlie Band's work. This is a movie he did that he never talks about for some reason, and I know there was a lot of trouble during it in terms of getting it released because it took like 5 years to get released. It was called The Alchemist.
Oh, dang it. I have to refer to Ronnie. I don't know this one. I'm making a note right now.
Okay. I am yet to meet anybody else who knows that movie, and I haven't met anybody who has, and I love that movie. It's just a very crazy, dark movie, and it's on that tape I actually told you about with Back to the Future taped over The Shining. It's actually on that tape, and yeah, it's just it's a crazy movie. It's Charlie Band's most underrated movie, and when I actually met his brother Richard, I said, I love that music that you composed for it. It reminds me of Little House on the Prairie, and he told me, yeah, I was watching it a lot during that time, and I guess on a subconscious level, it just ended up sounding like it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And let's see what's
Okay,
next.
I still rent DVDs, so I'm definitely going to look that up at my local DVD place.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's on DVD. I think it's just on VHS. You can get it off of eBay.
Oh, wow. Or maybe then I'll look at Amoeba. Ronnie and I went to Amoeba on Sunset in Hollywood one time, and he's like totally geeking out over the VHS collection of horror movies. Oh, have you seen this? Oh, look at what they have. And I felt like such a novice in his presence. But then he's written, 2 books on like the slasher genre, so I tell people like he's like a horror cinephile. In comparison to me, I just end up being a fanatic.
Yeah, I don't know what I am. Fanatic, horror cinephile. I don't know which one. I just love the genre. That's all I know.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Next one. Oh, Mirror, Mirror.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I love Mirror, Mirror. To me, it's very underrated.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Rainbow Harvest. I don't know what the hell happened to her. She got out of the industry. She was a cute scream queen, I'll tell you, for a short time.
Go ahead.
Dracula, 1931.
Oh.
To me, that's a good movie. It's cheesy.
Oh, of course.
It's cheesy. I mean, it's 87 years old, but it's still a good movie. I like it.
Oh, absolutely.
The Stuff, of course.
Wow, I feel like my choices now were like more mainstream.
I like mainstream ones too, but like the low budget ones are my favorites. and of course, Shopping Mall.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, Kelly Maroney is a good friend of mine, and Barbara Crampton. I've been lucky to hang out with them and stuff, and get signings from them at conventions and stuff. I love them. They are two very nice ladies.
Oh yeah, I got to meet Kelly at Ronnie's second book signing. So when he signed Slash Dreams 2, she was there at Dark Delicacies with him.
Yep.
And she signed my poster, my Killbox poster.
Nice.
And I totally fangirled over her because, of course, besides Shopping Mall, is A Night of the Comet.
Yeah, Night of the Comet is one of my favorite movies of all time. She is my favorite actress of all time, and she can't believe that, but it's true. Like, I know every line of dialogue from all of her roles and all that stuff. I mean, I worship Kelly Maroney, and I'm very lucky that I'm friends with her too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I just Night of the Comet. So many fucking great lines. My favorite line, I told her when I first met her, she actually hates the line because it's so wrong compared to today's standards. When she says, when they're talking about Hector's sexuality, and she says, the last man on earth is either a gentleman or a fag. She hates that line, but I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Who else is in that? Jeffrey Lewis and Mary Catherine. Oh, I always forget her last name.
Mary Warnov. Oh, yeah,
yes.
Catherine Mary Stewart. Yeah, she's been on the show 3 times.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, people love my interviews with her because we talk like two old friends. We just have like a nice conversation, kind of like what we're having right now. And we just talk about mundane things as well as her career and stuff. You know what? She seems like she gets kind of bored talking about her career after a while.
Right, I'd imagine they would be. I'd imagine that her, amongst other actors and actresses, directors, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, I wanted to ask you about Nerd Report. How did it come into your life?
Let's see. Via Nuxa Fridge Con, which was that first convention that I attended.
Right.
And Nuxa Fridge begat Nerd Report. And Nerd Report, I think I just was supporting them. I'm really into supporting, like, websites and podcasts and, like, small business and everything. And Louis Lecca, who runs it, very, very cool guy. And in my opinion, he put on one of the best cons that I've ever attended. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of started to get to know him, and then my eventual co-host, Robert Garcia.
Right. We
became friends, and we would talk all night long about movies. Every kind of movie, comedy, drama, especially horror, just everything. And then we had similarities in, like, music taste and stuff, so we became friends, and it came about that eventually he needed a new co-host. And because of all the time that we had spent talking about movies and pop culture, he offered me the job, and so here I am, like 30 shows in.
Wow, 30 shows. So it's fairly new. It just started.
The Nerd Report itself had been going via, like, podcast, just like audio podcast for a little bit longer than I've been around.
Right.
But when I came into the picture, we started taping them, and then now we just kind of go live every Monday.
Nice. Wow. Every Monday. That's the one day of the week I hate. I hate Mondays.
You're like Garfield. You hate Mondays.
Yeah. Or that girl who shut up the schoolyard back in the 70s.
Oh, dang.
Fucking Bob Geldof is such an asshole for writing that song, but I love it. I sing it at karaoke.
At karaoke I sing Darling Nikki by Prince.
Oh, I love that. Grind! Grind!
Of course, there's certain parts I don't act out, but yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, but you should. So when you do the show, is it scripted?
No, I mean, I keep notes, about topics that I want to cover, but otherwise, no, it's just us off the cuff, back and forth. That's how we banter. And we often tell the viewers or the chat participants that really what the Nerd Report is and what you see between Robert and I is that's how we talk all the time, and we're just talking on camera now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, nothing scripted. We don't read anything. I mean, we try to maybe make a note for the intro, but that doesn't tend to work out. So, yeah, no, we just like to have fun, and you know, it's great to have everybody on a live chat and get people's opinions or their input and get to ask questions, kind of like we're asking each other questions right now, except we get like a whole group of people answering, and, you know, sometimes debates spark up, and not everybody agrees, but it's a lot of fun. I love it.
Yeah, not everyone is supposed to agree. It's human nature.
Absolutely, most definitely.
I've always wanted to know, though, like when these podcasts, what the cameras are done, like how many cameras are there?
We have the one camera.
You have one camera.
Yeah, we have one, and Robert's like he's co-host / producer / vampire nemesis. So he takes care of all that stuff, and it looks really good. It's really great looking, and I'm really proud of what we put out.
Yeah, I watched the Joe Rogan Experience, and that there's got to be at least 2 cameras going from like both of their point of views of him and the guests. At least I think about that every time I watch an episode.
Oh, yeah, no, we've just got the one, and then we've got like the chat window there on the screen with us, and it's simple, and what's really nice, and what I've heard feedback from our regulars, if you will, is fellow nerds, mm-hmm. is that it doesn't get nasty. The conversation in the chat doesn't turn combative, and it doesn't get nasty where people are kind of putting each other down or anything like that. We all stay really positive, and the regulars are really nice and always welcoming to anybody new that, you know, joins the fracas, if you will. So,
mm-hmm.
I really like that positive environment.
Yeah, that's an environment we should all work in. I think it's really hard to build a community like that, you know.
Right.
But nothing crazy has happened on the air yet since you've been there. Like, has anybody had an orgasm or anything?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge, but hey, you know, you never know what people are up to behind the keyboard.
And I was watching your episode the other day about San Diego Comic-Con, and I actually have a friend who's going to be doing a panel there at the San Diego Comic-Con pretty soon. Her name is Anastasia Washington. She's been on the show.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, she's a true fangirl if ever there was one. She likes, oh my God, so much stuff. And she's a very funny stand-up comedian.
Oh, excellent. Stand-up is the best.
Yeah,
I love it. That's so cool. Congratulations to her.
Yep, I've been doing stand-up for 12 years now.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I started in San Francisco 12 years ago, and I moved here to Redding a year ago to help my mom pay the rent, and there's really no comedy scene out here, so I'm just taking a break, and my podcast is my means of being funny.
Right on. But that's good that you're being productive with yourself and, you know, like achieving, you know, your dreams, doing what you want to do. I didn't think I would get to be interviewing people and attending red or black carpets. Like I went to the black carpet premiere of It. So mm-hmm. I didn't think I'd be able to have these experiences in my late 30s. I just turned 40 in April. So, you know, it's pretty cool. Life starts whenever you decide.
Yeah, I noticed your birthday is 4/20.
That's right.
Yeah, oh my God, that's also Judith O'Day's birthday.
Really?
Yeah, and I asked her, what I asked her, I had an email interview with her, and I asked her if she's a fan of marijuana, because her birthday is 4/20, and I asked her if the cast of Night of the Living Dead got high because it was 1967 during the Summer of Love, you know?
Uh-huh.
And she told me nobody on the set got high at all. If there was smoking, it was cigarettes or somebody chewed tobacco or something. But no, nobody got high on the movie. And for her personally, no, she's not a fan of pot, although her son gave her an edible once while she was watching Finding Nemo.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, what an experience there.
And by the way, I did not read that part of the answer to that question on the air. I just told you now, though. I said, what the hell? I'll just reveal it now.
Oh, right on. I dig it.
So what else do you do for work?
For work, I just kind of am a mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mom and I'm a podcast co-host, and that's what I do.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yep, and cliche answer, it's the hardest job out there, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow. How many kids do you have?
I have 3. I have 2 college students and a 5th grader.
Wow, so you started young.
I did, and they have outgrown me and are far more mature than I will ever be.
Wow, that is amazing. Wow.
It is. Yeah, my daughter is very granola and kind of, she's not a hippie, but she wants to save the environment and not eat meat and all that kind of stuff. But my eldest, my son, is just like me. Although he just started watching horror movies like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's been attending Monsterpalooza and stuff, so he's really, really into it.
Oh, that is great. Yeah,
and the youngest, by virtue of being the youngest, has no choice but to go to the convention.
Yeah, I have my days where I want to have kids and my days where I don't. And if I do, I just want to get successful in this industry first and give it, a few more years after that, and then start having kids, when I know that I can be financially stable.
Yeah, it's hard to say if you ever really are. And should you ever, or if you ever do have kids, all I can say is start saving for college immediately. It always sounded like just, save for college. But no, I really wish I had saved better.
If I had a kid who wanted to go into acting, I would not encourage them to go to college for it. I would encourage them to take workshops for it, because you'll be paying the same amount of money for a workshop that you would for a year-long workshop than you would for college. And, you don't have to deal with, student loans, and you don't have to deal with, going to school and not being able to, support yourself during it, and stuff. It's a lot less stressful if you want to be an actor and you take a workshop. It's so much easier than go to college.
Right.
Yeah.
Most definitely. It's and I'm actually really fortunate, and I should give my kids, my older 2, credit. They are incredible young people, and they studied really, really hard and were AP students, so there's not much of a financial burden. It's just every now and then they need a couple $100.
Of course, kids.
So, that's me kissing goodbye like my convention money. No big deal.
Do you have lots of nephews and nieces?
No, not too many. Just like a small handful. I could always be closer with them, but I'm kind of like a loner, a rebel. All up Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. Oh, I saw him at the. Oh, I saw.
Did you?
Huh?
Did you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I saw him at the Monsterpalooza after party last year. He was honoring V. Neal. Yeah.
Wow.
He was up there.
My co-host got to meet him last year at it was then Stanley's LA Comic Con, and now of course it's just LA Comic Con. But yeah, he got to meet Paul Reubens and hang out with him and get some stuff signed. And he said he was so great to meet, and he was so cool and everything. So really engaging as well. And that's awesome. When you can hear that about a celebrity or an actor, actress that you really are a fan of, that they're very cool, it makes it even more exciting.
Yeah. He gave like a 20-minute speech because he's worked with her since the very beginning of his career, and he was pretty funny. And then, as soon as it was over, he was out of there, I'll tell you.
Right.
But it was pretty cool. I enjoyed myself seeing him and everything. And what's her name? E.G. Daily plays Dottie in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I met her.
Yeah, I just met her at Monsterpalooza.
Yeah, I met her at Son of Monsterpalooza in 2016, and oh my God, I was just so nervous. I took her by the hand and kissed it, and she gave me the sexy wink, and I was like, "Oh, E.G., I want your love." I said it.
Oh man, she was cool because I took my eldest and my youngest to Monsterpalooza. And so she appealed to everybody in the group because for me, I go all the way back to like say Better Off Dead and Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Besides Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And then my kids are like, oh, hey, Tommy Pickles and, Powerpuff Girls. And she really kind of transcends a couple of generations. I love and adore her. And again, she's another one like Felissa that's just phenomenal looking.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever met Diane Franklin?
I have not, but that would be cool.
Well, I've had her on the show 3 times, including today. I had her on earlier, and we're talking about Michael Anderson's movies because he directed her in Second Time Lucky, and he died a couple months ago.
Oh. Wow. Well, rest in peace.
Yeah, so that was a good talk we had and stuff. She's such a sweetheart.
Oh, wow. So you talked to her before you talked to me? That's like only super exciting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What I do have, speaking of like Better Off Dead, I have met Bill Kopp a couple of times. Not only was he the voice of Eek the Cat, but animator for Better Off Dead, animated sequences in Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer. Mm-hmm. And I actually have some of the screen use animation cells from Better Off Dead of like the cute and fuzzy bunnies.
Oh yeah, the cute and fuzzy bunnies.
Yes, I have one of them, like, when they're like blowing bubbles and stuff and just being cute and fuzzy bunnies. And then when the rhino comes and starts like, blowing holes in them.
Yeah.
And like my kids wanted to know like, why are these bunnies like have gunshots in them? I was like, because the cute and fuzzy bunnies are assholes.
Yeah. I love that. That's classic. Yeah. I've been so lucky with the people I've met and interviewed, and there's quite a bit of people that I haven't interviewed yet that I look forward to and stuff like this fall. Hopefully I'm going to interview Terry McMinn from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wow.
Yeah. She's like the only one left alive from the entire movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Marilyn Burns is dead, Gunnar Hansen's dead, Toby Hooper's dead, and that other guy that was in the movie is dead.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I love it. Dark Delicacies, they have their, like an apron, I believe it is, signed by Gunnar Hansen, framed behind the counter.
Huh, I wonder why I didn't see that.
I'll have to take a picture of it when I'm there tomorrow morning, and I'll definitely post it, or at the very least send it to you. But, oh, yeah.
Wow, that's
so cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow, that's like a landmark. If anybody steals that, oh God, they could make money off of eBay.
No kidding.
Oh my God. Do you paint your toenails?
Yeah, I do.
Me too.
Yes, I do. Black as always. It's my boyfriend's favorite color.
Black. I like red, pink, purple with sparkles.
Oh, well, you're like Tarantino.
Tarantino does those colors too?
Tarantino, he likes, he likes the feet questions. He likes the toenails. He likes the toes, rather. He has a little fetish. Not that you have a fetish.
Oh, I do have a fetish. That's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to talking to Terry McMinn, because she was a foot model when she was young.
Oh my goodness, that's fascinating.
Yeah, that's actually how I think that's how she got the part in the movie, because they were showed close-ups of her bare feet in the movie. I think that's how she got it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess I never really consider like hand and feet model.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Why, do you have pretty feet?
I don't know. Feet kind of weird me out sometimes. Like even my kids' feet when they were babies, they're like, oh, feet.
Yeah. But I'm one of those foot fetishists though that's not creepy about it though. Like I'm not one of those guys who like messages random girls on Facebook and says, "Can I see your feet?" You know, I'm not one of those guys. I respect the ladies' boundaries.
Right on. It's always good to respect those.
Yeah, I just don't get those guys who do that, you know? And plus, there's foot fetish groups on Facebook that I'm a member of, and there's, women who are willing to, like, post it, and they don't care, what the guys comment on them, So it's, like, better to do that than to be a creeper, you know?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm fascinated by social media and everything, and social networking, and I've been on Instagram for less than a year, and so the whole term sliding into DMs I wasn't familiar with. I've only encountered a couple of guys that have been kind of a little forward, but not too much.
Yeah, I've been on Instagram less than 2 months, and I cannot believe the followers I'm getting, daily, and it's so amazing. I mean, it's mostly people that I've already been friends with on Facebook or followed on Twitter or whatever. But I'm just amazed at like how many people I'm getting, and I don't even have that many pictures on there yet.
Right. Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah, I mean, you see the pictures I post with me and the celebrities and everything, and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever met Deborah Lamb?
No.
Oh God, she's one of my favorite guests on the show. She's so funny and so crazy, I'll tell you.
How cool is that? Wow. Yeah, you've met some really extraordinary folks.
Yeah, I mean it's even gonna get bigger, I'll tell you.
Yeah, what was really cool? Ronnie and I went to go see at Beyond Fest, which is a local film festival here in LA. We went to the Egyptian Theater, and inside the Egyptian is the smaller Spielberg Theater. We watched a free screening of Slumber Party Massacre, and we happened to get like seats in the very back of the theater. We sat next to Michael Villela, who's the driller killer in that movie.
Michael Villela. Oh.
Yeah, so that was really cool, and we were just like so stoked, and we both were kind of geeking out about it, and he was very, very cool and talked with us, took plenty of pictures, and even afterwards outside I was hanging out, and he came out, and he told me how to correctly pronounce his name, and just a very cool guy, and it was awesome. There was like a whole Q&A and everything. Yeah, there's some really cool film festivals here in LA, especially at the Egyptian. So besides Beyond Fest, there's also Cinematic Void, and they're the ones that put on Alice Sweet Alice.
Oh, nice.
And that was so cool. Because, it's one thing to see it at home, and like maybe on VHS, which is how the first way I saw it, or on DVD, I own the DVD, but to see these movies on the big screen as they were originally intended, it's a whole different experience. I thought I knew everything about John Carpenter's Halloween until I saw it via Fathom Events at our local movie theater, and wow, what an experience!
Yeah, I told Kelly and Kathy I wanted to put on a 35th anniversary screening of Night of the Comet at Sketchfest in San Francisco next year, and Kelly told me, well, if you do that, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and I was like, oh shit, that's a lot of responsibility, and I don't have the money to do that. And I was like, okay, fuck. I guess I'll wait a while, because I don't,
Right.
because I'm not rich and I'm trying to get rich, because I have to,
Almost that.
because I would have to, put them up in a hotel, pay them this amount and do all this stuff, but I can't do that now.
Right.
And I really want to too. I want to host panels at conventions, but not the ones like my friend is doing at at San Diego Comic Con, but just celebrity ones and shit. But they want celebrities to host those panels, and it's like it's funny. I see celebrities that host and they're really really good, but then there's other conventions where I see these guys who like work for the convention center doing it, right, and they have no personality. They're phoning it in. They don't. They look like they don't know anything about the movie. They're just reading off of a paper. They don't engage with the crowd or the guest, and they look like they don't want to be there. And it's like I want to say, step aside and let me do it.
Right. Oh man, I went to a screening at a local theater, just kind of like a smaller theater in Pasadena.
Right.
And they were showing Psycho. It was really cool. It was like a fan event, but they were asking trivia questions, and I was correcting out loud, like screaming at them the correct answers rather the correct questions, because they weren't even asking correct questions.
Right.
So I'm like shouting at them, like, that's not even right. Because Psycho, you can't ask incorrect questions about Psycho.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Who's the girl? Marley Renfro. She she had Janet Leigh's body double in Psycho.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she was at Monsterpalooza this past year, and I wanted to go meet her so badly. I was sad I couldn't do it.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, she was she was in Playboy when she was young.
Oh, hey, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What were you gonna say?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm on my second beer. It escapes me. But something interesting is I live about 5 minutes from Haddonfield.
Wow.
So I live by South Pass, and that's actually where my video rental place is. I'm going to give them a shout out, Videotech, because it's the greatest little video rental store. Inside, instead of having everything arranged by just by genre, it's arranged by director within the genre.
Oh, that's cool.
It's incredible. So they'll have a John Carpenter section, Don Coscarelli section, George Romero section, just like that. They have the Star Wars section. It's so cool. And you know what? There's another underrated more so cult, horror movie, John Waters' Serial Mom.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I love John Waters.
Yep. Oh yeah, I just got to see him live. Actually, Ronnie and I went. Ronnie and I went to see him live about a month ago. Mm-hmm. I won tickets via some online contest. So, and yeah, I was jumping up and down, and I had an extra ticket, and so I approached everybody on Facebook and well, if you can name 5 John Waters movies within 2 minutes without referring to Google, I'll take you with me. And Ronnie was the first one to do it, so we went. It was pretty incredible. John Waters he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
I know. Oh my God, that one movie he did. Oh God, what's it called? Polyester.
Yes, Scratch and Sniff. Odorama. Yes.
Oh wait, did you ever own one of those?
No. How cool would that be, though?
Oh yeah, I heard they really do stink.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Who knew? Who knew that stink could be so good?
Yeah. Do you like Canadian horror films?
Canadian horror films. You would have to name a few for me. I don't know that I would know any just classified as Canadian horror films.
Black Christmas.
yes.
The original.
That's actually, I believe that's one of Ronnie's like all-time favorites.
Yeah. What's that one called? Happy Birthday to Me.
That's one of the few that I've not seen. I love the imagery for it, but I've not seen it. And actually, before we continue, did you like the remake of Black Christmas?
Yeah, I thought it stunk on ice.
Really? I thought it was a great time. It was a lot of fun. And it actually scared my teenagers, who, of course, these days teenagers are pretty desensitized. But, no, I liked it. Okay, so those two, what are some other examples?
Deadly Eyes.
I don't think I've seen that. Dang it. Hey, Prom Night. How about Prom Night? Is that one?
What's it called?
Prom Night, Jamie Lee Curtis, 1980.
Yeah, that's Canadian.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah, no, Deadly Eyes is about these killer rats, these huge killer rats, and it's got two friends of mine who have been guests on the show, Lisa Langlois, and from the class of 1984, she's Patsy, the punk rock girl, and Leslie Donaldson, and they were actually both in Happy Birthday to Me also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh my God, they are two really funny Canadian ladies, and they got really dirty sense of humor and everything, and I get along with them very well.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, I'm always suggesting them for conventions out here and stuff, because they do a lot of conventions in Canada, but for some reason they never get booked out here, which I think is disrespectful, because they are just as good as the American Scream Queens.
Right.
Yeah, what's her name? The first victim in Black Christmas, Lynn Griffin. She's been on the show twice. We did an episode about a month ago or so, or 2 months ago, I think, where we're talking about the Me Too movement, and we were talking about stuff that's going on in the news. And oh my God, she was so damn funny. I lost track of how many times she said pussy during the whole interview.
I tried to work it into my, vernacular daily.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite words. I mean, I the only time I ever say vagina is if I know somebody is going to be offended by pussy, but for the most part, no, I say pussy all the time.
The V word is one of my boyfriend's favorite words. He loves it.
Really?
There's something there's something enticing and yet naughty about it. I don't know.
There is. I never really thought of that before. But yeah, you're right. There is something enticing about vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Lynn, yeah, she's really cool and stuff. You guys are mostly a debate show, though. You haven't had any guests on.
No, tomorrow will be my first interview. So with Dale, talking with Dale will be my first interview. Robert's interviewed quite a few people. He writes besides co-hosting the Nerd Report.
Nice.
So he's interviewed quite a few people. As a matter of fact, when he interviewed Don Coscarelli, they ended up talking about like Star Wars and Captain Phasma and J.J. Abrams and stuff like that. So he's an all-encompassing nerd, if you will.
Wow. Yeah. J.J. Abrams. That guy should do more interviews. He doesn't do enough interviews. He's very enigmatic, I mean, he's got all this
Right.
He's got all this talent and stuff, but it's like I'd like to hear him talk more.
Right. Oh, you know what I love? He did. I think it was Andy Samberg that was hosting like the MTV Music Awards or Video Music Awards, something, the movie awards. And
Right.
he did this like music video, Cool Guys Don't Look at Explosions, and J.J. Abrams is in like a neon coat, and he's like playing keyboard. It's spectacular. If you haven't seen it, you got to look that up. Cool Guys Don't Look at Explosions, and it's like a music video, and it's just clips from movies with dudes walking away from explosions.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah, but like Is horror like your favorite genre of all the movie genres?
It is.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes, most definitely. Yes.
horror and comedy and science fiction. Those are like my three favorite ones.
Yep. And then when you can get all three in one, say for example, like James Gunn's Slither, because you get some horror, you get some sci-fi, and you get comedy.
Yep. And yeah, sometimes you get all the genres mixed together and stuff. Like to me, Night of the Comet is a perfect mix of comedy and science fiction with just a tiny touch of horror.
Absolutely. Oh, and Mary Warnock, she's in that as well as Chopping Mall, right? Her and Paul Bartel.
Yeah, she's in both of them.
Oh, and Paul Bartel, he's also in an episode of Amazing Stories.
Oh, he had a really good career. He was in Rock and Roll High School.
Yes. Yes, he is missed. He is missed.
Yeah, he's one person I would have loved to have met. He just seemed so cool, and he was just a really good presence in like really good in like old movies.
Most definitely, most definitely. And speaking of Amazing Stories, besides Mick Garris, I've met Joe Dante. And wow, what an experience.
Oh, he's a genius.
Absolutely. Him and Dick Miller, because there's a documentary about Dick Miller, which is called That Guy Dick Miller. So I went to a signing for that, and it was like Laney Miller, Dick Miller, the director, and Joe Dante, and like nobody was in there. What? How is this signing empty?
I met Dick Miller at Monsterpalooza last year, and I just saw the look on his face when I had him sign my Chopping Mall Blu-ray. He didn't seem very enthusiastic because I know he didn't get along with Jim Wynorski on that movie, and the marker he used wasn't very strong, so he just barely wrote with it and everything. And I was like, I don't think I want to get this Blu-ray signed anymore. So I got a poster, and that's what I had Kelly and Barbara sign.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Who else signed my poster? Russell.
Oh, Russell Todd. Russell
yes.
Todd.
So he was at Ronnie's signing as well, besides Kelly and Maroney.
Yeah, I had Russell on the show. He was one of my first interviews. Nice guy, but he didn't really say a whole lot. Like I'd ask him questions, and he would give me all these short answers, and it ended up being one of my shorter interviews. I couldn't like think of what to say after he'd give me all these short answers. But he was a very nice guy, though.
Right on.
It's like
something. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Every once in a while, you get an interview that you think is going to go well, and then sometimes it doesn't. Like the person doesn't really have much to say, and you think to yourself, why do they even want to do an interview? You know?
That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just to give you a heads up, if you're going to interview people, that's going to happen sometimes.
Thank you. Yeah, I do have to prepare myself. Luckily, I'm hoping things go well tomorrow with Dell. We're going to be doing it live. At least that's our hope, is to be live. That way to give, some folks an opportunity to kind of chime in with questions or comments, and, also to join the Save Magnolia Park movement.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to start getting press badges to conventions?
Yeah, I got Monsterpalooza, and then besides that, Midsummer Scream.
I thought Monsterpalooza didn't have press badges.
Oh, they did. They did for Fridays is what it is. But actually, my co-host, he got a 3-day.
That's weird because I asked Tony Timponi, after I interviewed him, and he told me that they don't have press badges. That's weird.
Yeah, it's but it's as if the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Because my friend and I went, and he had his press pass as well, and we got directed from point A to point B to point C, back to A, and so yeah, it's just different responses depending on who you talk to.
Okay, so in your particular case, how did you get them? If you don't mind revealing.
Actually, through my friend, he got it for both of us. His site that he writes for.
Mm-hmm.
they were able to request one for him and a guest, an additional one, so we both got them.
Wow.
So, and my co-host actually appealed to Monsterpalooza directly, and they gave him the 3-day. He always sends a link to, examples of his writings and whatnot, and they gave him a 3-day.
Wow. Yeah.
So they do exist.
Well, maybe next year when I get to go, then I'll see if I can get one and stuff. That would be good.
Right, definitely.
And stuff. Well, I'm going to wrap this up by telling you some jokes because you've been such an awesome guest.
Oh, groovy.
You know why cherry trees have a stinky smell?
No, why?
George Washington cut one.
I love dad jokes. Where's my boyfriend? He loves dad jokes.
A Catholic schoolboy goes into a confession booth and he says, "Father, I'm so embarrassed to have to tell you this, but I masturbate 5 times a day, and it goes against everything that I've learned in Sunday school. I'm so embarrassed. What can I do?" And the priest says, "You are forgiven, my son. Recite 5 Hail Marys and put some ice on that arm."
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
The 7 dwarfs were in a bath and they started feeling happy. So happy left.
Wait. Say that again.
The 7 dwarfs were in a bath and they started feeling happy. So happy left.
Oh. I never heard that one. That's a good one. I never heard that. Oh my God. A bear and a rabbit are taking a shit in the woods. A bear says to the rabbit, "Excuse me, sir, do you have a problem with shit sticking to your fur?" The rabbit says no, so the bear wiped his ass with the rabbit.
Oh my God, that's like elementary school in the 80s. Hell yes, I love it.
And then the rabbit died from the stink.
That's awesome. You're right. You do tell good jokes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't do my actual stand-up material on the show because I don't want people to steal them while I'm not famous yet, you know?
Right. I totally dig that. We'll have another conversation a different time about stand-up because I love stand-up comedians.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. I can tell you stories about comedians I've met and like the gossip they've told me about famous ones, you know, that they've opened for, or the stories that they've heard about and everything. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, I dig it. So let's definitely make plans to do this again.
Yes. Amanda, thank you so much. And yes, I want to do this again. And I'll keep an ear out for Nerd Report and stuff. And I have to say, Amanda, I'm quite fond of you.
Oh, right on. Thank you so much. This was such a good time. This was a blast. I was a little nervous before, but totally excited. And thank you so much for asking me. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, my pleasure. You have yourself a great night, and don't get too hammered.
I won't. I'll do my best not to. Thanks so much, Tommy. You take care.
Okay, Amanda. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Amanda Gonzales. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Amanda. It was great talking about horror and telling jokes and all that other fun stuff and everything. I like you an awful lot. I want to be friends with you. I love being friends with horror fans and fellow podcasters. So if you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.